Hello and welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwagu. Today on the show, Angolan exchange set for first initial public offerings in 2019. An MTN group announces major boardroom changes. Plus, South African government says Chinese loan to Eskom not in jeopardy. Let's get the show started now with the markets, and we're starting here in Africa as investors' sentiments were mixed at intraday. While the JSE index was up 0.72%, the NSE was trading in the negative territory, down 0.10%. The market in Egypt closed for the week on Thursday in the negative territory. Kenya closed positive on Thursday. And the Middle East markets were all closed today for the weekend. The Qatar stock market closed a 3-month high, buoyed by Gulf International Services, while the Abu Dhabi index was pressured by financial shares. The Qatar index rose 0.77%, with Gulf International Services jumping 10% after its unit was awarded contracts by Qatar Petroleum to provide 6 offshore drilling rigs. The Abu Dhabi index was down 0.3%, with United Arab Bank sliding 4.2% and Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank losing 0.5%. Also on Thursday in Dubai, the index added 0.25%, helped by a 2.4% rise by Emma Properties and a 2.9% gain in Dubai investments. The Saudi Arabian index fell 0.27%, with Gulf Union Cooperative Insurance declining 4.8% after actuaries recommended an increase in its technical reserves of 27.5 million riyals. And in Europe now, stocks were slightly higher this morning as investors digested another batch of corporate earnings and looked ahead to payrolls data in the U.S. Well, let's cross over now to the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, where my colleague Ashutosh Pandey will be giving us more from the European space. Hello, Ashutosh. This is the last one. Good to see you.
Hi, Chimi. Good to see you and hear from you, actually. And thanks a lot for having me on Channels TV.
You're welcome. Anyway, Canadian aerospace and rail firm Bombardier has said it would sell its Northern Ireland business. Now, the company in the past has warned of serious consequences of a hard Brexit. How much of this decision is to really do with Brexit? How difficult would it be to find a buyer, considering the uncertainties in the region?
Well, it's difficult to say how much of it is to do with Brexit, but we've got to believe the company when it says that it's not to do with Brexit. And I also feel that it's more of a strategic move. It's part of a wider reorganization plan, a restructuring plan related to the aviation business of the company. It wants to focus now on business jets and the smaller regional jets. And that's the reason why it wants to consolidate its business in North America, in Montreal, Texas, in Mexico. So it could be because of that, because we also hear that it is planning to shift its business, the aviation business, out of Morocco as well. So it's more or less a strategic move. As far as your second question is concerned, I don't think so it would be that difficult to get rid of the operation in Northern Ireland, because it's been a prized possession for Bombardier. One of the things that they do there is to make wings for A220s for the Airbus, and Airbus has been really bullish on A220s, and it is planning to ramp up production. So we can expect Airbus to play a major role in the sale process going forward. Analysts have already shortlisted potential suitors, and it could even be Airbus itself if it wants to keep the business within its fold. And there is the other name that is doing the round is that of Spirit Aerosystems, a U.S. aviation parts maker.
Let's look at some of the earnings coming in today. Europe's largest lender, HSBC, reported better than expected earnings in what has certainly been a difficult quarter for other UK banks. Now, how are investors there receiving the results? Looking behind you there, I can see the DAX really shooting up.
Well, the results have certainly cheered the investors here and in London. I mean, the share is the top performer on London's FTSE 100. That's because the investors are really happy about the cost-cutting efforts of the company. The company has actually struggled to cut its, to actually take his revenue, grow its revenue rather at a higher pace than it grows its costs. So that has been the target for the company over the past year, but it had failed to do that. And now in the first quarter, it has finally achieved, and it sees that its revenue is now growing at a much faster pace than its costs. And it also says that it will keep its costs under check because of this uncertain economic environment at this point of time.
And German sportswear maker Adidas posted a first quarter profit that handsomely beat analysts' expectations. Now, the news must have certainly pleased the people on the floor behind you.
Absolutely, and that's reflected in the chart behind me, because it's way beyond above all the other DAX players, up almost 7%. Adidas, the investors have certainly cheered by are happy by the margin with which it actually beat the expectations. Adidas has performed really well as far as the profit is concerned. The revenue came in line, which means that it's actually performed very good in the very profitable e-commerce business, and that's what it has done. And also the fact that it has already warned about the fact that it won't be able to meet its like demand, because there's a lot of demand and it has supply constraints. I mean, there are supply chain issues in North America particularly. That's a key market for Adidas. It says that that problem is going to persist for the second quarter, but going forward in the second half of the year, things are going to be improve, and the sales are going to rise further. So clearly the investors are seeing that there is this potential for growth for Adidas going forward.
Ashutosh, it's been a wonderful week with you. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the weekend.